Good evening, folks. I would like to go ahead and start the regular board meeting for Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. We'll start by, if you can join me for a moment of silence. Please rise. Thank you. Treasurer, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Marweed,
Here.
Mr. Vasquez, here. Mr. Parker,
Here.
Ms. Barnes,
Present.
Mrs. Gherkin.
Thank you. Now we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would like to participate, please rise. Thank you. And now I will have Dr. Durant, if you don't mind, say the mission and vision statements.
TPS new mission is to provide innovative educational opportunities that ensure each and every student is prepared for their future. Vision statement is to empower each and every student to live a purpose-driven life. We just learned that today. But our core commitments is student-centered, student ownership, growth mindset, as well as a culture of positivity. Thank you.
Great job. I'm still learning the old one, so now I gotta learn a new one. Moving to section 1.05, I would like to request a motion to approve August 22nd, 2023 board agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Marweed,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin.
Yes.
Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Brian Murphy for our section 2 presentations.
Good evening, everyone. Before we get started with the special presentation, we would like to recognize a retirement that we have in our district. Maria Aguilar served 26 years, 9 months in the school district. She was a food service worker at Boucher High School. Retirement date is 9/1 of 2023. Is Maria here? All right, thank you. We have a round of applause for her. Thank you. Okay, with that being said, we have a special presentation this evening. As board members and superintendent, with their blessing, we've been on a journey the last several months to revise the strategic plan for the district. We contract with Experience Management Institute, who is here with us this evening. We also have a student named Avi that's here with us this evening that participated in the revision process, which again was several months. They are here to do a presentation to talk about what that process was. They're going to talk about the foundation of the next strategic plan, which will include the mission, vision, core values, board objectives of the district. So I'd like to invite them up, Emily and Avi. Once the presentation is done, we'd be happy to take questions and comments, of course, from the board and the superintendent. And then I believe we have a board resolution that the president may be presenting for official board adoption and action. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're so excited to be here this evening to share with you the new strategic plan and a little bit about the journey that a large number of people have been on. I do have a student here, or I should say a recent graduate. We should give that a Excellent. Here to share who was part of the process, so we're very excited about that. And we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to talk through many pieces today, do quick introductions, talk about the journey we've been on, and then talk about the new strategic plan, which is very exciting. We have a new vision, new mission statement, core values, goals, and objectives. Everyone's going to see that this evening. So again, there's a lot of work that's gone into this. From an introduction standpoint, I'm one of the co-founders of the Experience Management Institute. We are a woman-owned business, very proud of that, who is technically located in Columbus, Ohio. But we are considered a small business, and we are also certified veteran-friendly. And we've had the pleasure of working with the district for some time on a lot of different projects, and it's an honor to be able to support TPS and continue to be TPS proud ourselves. I'm Emily Douglas McNabb. As a background, I've actually done work with the district now for almost 10 years, working through different things around strategic planning and HR process improvement. My background is actually around those exact things, so process improvement, strategy, and HR. And I'm involved with a lot of different groups and do a lot of different things. I'm very involved with the master's program at Ohio State for both the MBA and the master's in HR program. We thought we'd have another student with us who unfortunately was unable to join, but we do have Avi, if you would like to come and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Avishka Ramdeo. I graduated from Woodward. I was in the graphic designing program, which I want to go to college for. I took a break. I took a year off. I've been to a lot of after-school activities, Tech Squad, SMART, Student Council, Spanish Club, PBIS, STOP, and all of those brought me here today.
So Avi's going to talk a little bit about core values and what some of those core values mean to him as he was part of the planning around those and focus groups. So one of the big things to know about strategic plans, especially in school districts, is so TPS has a history since Dr. Durant joined the district of being very thoughtful around strategy and strategic planning, which has taken the district, I think, to a different level than you see many other districts, not only in the state, but in the country. So one of the things we talk about pretty frequently is that strategy and strategic planning is a journey, right? It's not a destination. You're always thinking about strategy. And a lot of times what happens is that many organizations put together strategic plans because they believe that strategic plans or strategy is a document, right? So we create this document and it lives. Lots of school districts spend quite a bit of money and then they end up putting them on a shelf. They never talk about them. They're not on the wall. Students definitely don't know anything about them. So it was very much an agreement ahead of time that that was not going to be the plan here, and that TPS is very much guided by making thoughtful decisions around things like where are we going to put our money, where are we going to go next, how are we going to be competitive in the market that we're in. So that's part of a strategy. The foundation of a strategic plan, there are very specific components of strategic plans that have very specific definitions. A lot of times, again, in school districts, we see school districts kind of flip or change or move things around a little bit. And so we're like, you know what, we're going to follow this and we're going to ensure this strategic plan is not only a reflection of the district, but of the city and of the county. And so any organization or anyone who looks at this is like, you know what, I know what that means and what that says, and I know where this district is headed without a question. And then it says strategy is something that impacts our work every day. Last but not least, a lot of times people think, again, you do a plan, you create a plan, and that's the end of it. And really, truthfully, the way that TPS has designed this is that the strategic plan impacts people's work on a daily basis, and we're going to continue that with the design of this new strategic plan in a variety of ways. So the journey, I'm going to give you a quick overview because it's very important to reflect and be thankful to all of the people who have been part of this along the way. So the first piece of work that was done were community surveys, and we asked community members or staff or parents, family members, anyone to please provide input in a very quick and easy survey. We ended up with 204 responses, and we really took to heart everyone's individual comments, questions, and concerns. Then we started to do surveys of students, and we asked students, what do you want? What are your priorities? What concerns you? What are you excited about? What do you want to see more of? And so we took that feedback and really started to put together what the whole journey was going to be and how more people were going to be involved. The next piece came from Extended Cabinet. So Extended Cabinet met and engaged in many facilitated activities where we talked about vision, mission, value statements, and what we believe in here at TPS. So we put draft language together and we said this is kind of where we want to go. The next piece were competencies. TPS is a leader, and we don't always think about this, but a leader when it comes to competency, specifically competency-based evaluation for both the superintendent and the treasurer. So we needed to think about what that meant for everyone else who works in the district. So we started with a list of competencies that were a list of 40. We whittled them down to 9. Many lively conversations on what we value from behavior standpoint in leaders. And we started to then identify with different activities, what are some of the priority areas of the board, of the superintendent, of different people and different departments, and how do we start to get all of that together to chart a path forward. So we have all this draft language, and what do you do next? You have focus groups. We went to Dr. Durant, we're like, what do you think about some of these words, and how do you feel about, what if we tried out the word scholar versus student? What do you think? So he's like, you know what? We should go to the people and we should ask everybody what they think. And that's exactly what we did. So we had focus groups, and this is one of the things that Avi was actually part of, and many people. So we had focus groups, we had student focus groups, we had parent and family focus groups, administrator focus groups, staff focus groups, teacher focus groups, and we put language up on the wall and we said, tell us what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Give us any feedback you want to share. So there were lots of ideas and insights gathered from all of that. Here's some pictures of some different people. We can see, Avi's actually up here in the left-hand corner, and there's your photo. But lots of different people participated and gave us really great feedback. Some of the feedback we knew, then we had to go back to the drawing board. Some of the feedback were like, you know what, that works, that's right. So we used that as we started to put together the next piece, which is really the final strategic plan. And then here we are. This was a very quick, long journey, but in a very quick timeline. And we're here tonight for the board to pass a resolution for the new strategic plan. What's important, though, is that there will be continued ongoing work, again, to ensure that the strategic plan isn't a document that's created and never looked at again. The strategic plan should have very specific pieces that kind of flow together, which means that the board, the superintendent, extended cabinet will continue to discuss priorities and how all of the pieces and parts come together and look at data. So what are the components of the strategic plan? You can see this very simple slide. These are the pieces. One is a vision statement. What is a vision statement? A vision statement is meant to be, when we look into the future, where do we want to go? What's the vision for the future? The mission statement is meant to be more tactical, and how are we going to get there? A lot of times, if you look at other public school districts, the vision and the mission statement are these long one-page documents. These are meant to be statements, right? So at TPS, we have followed those protocols, we followed those rules, and they're very specific statements, and every word matters in them. And we're going to go through that here in a minute. We have 5 core values. We're going to look at what those are. 5 goals. There used to be more goals. We have brought it down to 5. Underneath goals, you will see objectives. Objectives are very, again, tactical in the matter of how are we going to achieve our goals. The next piece comes key performance indicators, which are metrics, right? So TPS is very familiar with collecting lots of data and sharing data, and then priority areas and tactical plans. This is exactly how you connect a strategic plan to the work that people do every day, which should help everybody to understand exactly in the direction we're moving. And a lot of times what people will share with you is that when it comes to their position and their job, that's very fuzzy, right? And that is not how it's designed to be here at TPS. And last but not least are the leadership competencies. So when we think about all of these pieces and how they connect, I'm not going to go through all of these different, all the words on here, but vision, mission, and goals is really part of the strategic plan, and it's a roadmap, right? It tells us what we believe and where we want to be in the future. The commitment to core values is very important, right? These are the behaviors that we value. They're really meant to be the guiding light, and it's how you drive change. Great leaders are a huge piece of this organization, and that includes all kinds of people. So we're going to focus on continuous improvement, right? And continuous improvement takes good leaders and great leadership. And last but not least is competency driven, which means we want to ensure that all the behaviors and all the expectations are all linked together. Again, so we're all moving in the exact same direction. So from the process piece, one of the things we did is we asked people to give us feedback, and then we use that feedback in the crafting of what you see here in front of you, right? So this is the new vision and the mission, where you see Toledo Public Schools strategic plan is guided. That's actually a description of what the mission is. The actual mission statement is below in bold. So you can see this, it says the vision, the new vision is we empower each and every student to lead and live a purpose-driven life. The mission and the new mission statement says we provide innovative educational opportunities that ensure each student is prepared for their future. Now, I'm gonna go through this. Words matter, and I think one of the pieces I took that was the most impactful piece of feedback was from the student focus group. And they talked about each and every word in the vision and the mission statement because they want those to mean something. So it used to be that the old vision and mission starts with Toledo Public Schools. The feedback the students provided was, we think it's we. We want anyone who says this to feel like they're an owner, not like it's some outside entity. So we is important, and it means that it's everyone at TPS, not just teachers or staff, it's everyone, it's students, it's everyone included. So the we means that we're all working together to step up and move forward. Empower, to encourage or support. We talked about lots of options, but the word empower was the word that ended up being part of the vision statement. And then each and every. This is the most impactful conversation we had in the student focus groups because we looked at the difference between using each student and every student. And the view of the students was, those are different. If we say each student, it accepts and looks at people individually, and every student means them as a group. The fascinating piece is we asked some of the adults to give us feedback, and a lot of the adults were like, just pick one. The students, their comment literally was, and Avi was there and he heard this, the joke was, if it changes to each and every, they will know for the rest of the time of the strategic plan that they made an impact. And I thought that was really exciting. So there it is there, and it's gonna be up on all the walls that says each and every, so meaning both people individually and as a group. To lead, right? This was another great conversation. A lot of times when you're out of school or you become an adult, you believe that leaders are people who have titles. They're people in high up leveled positions. Students said, no, no, no. Anyone can be a leader. Everyone can be a leader. You can be a leader in your community. You can be a leader in your religious organization. You can be a leader at school. So very cool. So we took this and we said, we're gonna encourage this and move this forward. So to lead, meaning you're gonna have to step up. You don't need a title. You don't need permission. Lead anywhere that you can. And then we have the purpose-driven piece. So meaning that we're trying to accomplish goals and motivations that really want, that where we're trying to go for people to be able to step up and be successful in their life. So there's the vision statement. One of the things that Jesse, like I said, had shared with us as we looked at this PowerPoint presentation was that he said, one of the things that I think is great about the mission statement is that I would have never had the experience I'm having right now at the Toledo Technology Academy had I been at another school district in Ohio. And so this is really important, innovative educational opportunities. And he was very adamant that meant more than just magnets and academies. That means after school activities, other types of extracurriculars, that lots of money have been spent on things like libraries. And so that was so important. So again, as we break down the mission, innovative educational opportunities is the wide variety of experiences that TPS provides to students, which you don't see truthfully in many other school districts, even in this state. Ensure each student is prepared. Every individual has different goals, and we need to be ready to move forward in life and grow in different ways. So that's why we say each student, again, for each individual. And then last but not least, for their future. There is stands to be inclusive, right? Meaning it's all people. The future is what comes ahead, and to each person, that's a different thing. So we played with the wording there. Is it the future? No, it's their future, meaning each individual's own future. So this is the mission statement and where we've got And we're very excited about that. Next are the core values. There are 5 core values. You can see them in front of you. I'm not going to read all the definitions, but from the main word, we've got student-centered, student ownership, safety and wellness, culture of positivity, and growth mindset. So Avi's going to come and share a little bit about the core values and how he sees them playing out in his life.
Hello again. I'm going to explain student ownership. Now that I've graduated, all these activities I've been in, everything, I've missed them. I've missed being in them, like waking up in the morning, got a test like, wear your smart shirts today. We're going to go outside and greet the people as they come in. They brought me way out of my comfort zone. It opens me up to new opportunities. I've been to so many places I haven't been to. I've been to like in Columbus at those huge events speaking, and it also encouraged me to do like a lot of interesting stuff like volunteering. Like when I hear of like something pops up about volunteering, I'm like, okay, I want to do it. I really want to do it. And it like like when I volunteer, I went out into downtown, like I got to feed the homeless people, all those stuff I miss. I really miss doing it. Even in the summer, even though I graduated, I was there in the summer helping feeding the homeless. And the stuff that TPS provide, you could go out and do so much things from all of these after school activities, and I was really grateful for them. Culture of positivity. In the morning when you come in, you get greeted by the CPOs, the teachers, your friends. You come in, they're like, "Good morning, Avi. How are you today?" It feels so nice. Like sometimes you come in like, "I don't want to be here today." It just brightens up your day so much. And one of my favorite things, like going to like sports game, when you're like, sometimes when you go to a away game, like you don't have like your friends and family at the away games, like you don't have that confidence to play. And when you're at the home game, your friends are like, oh, they're there, they come, they cheer you on. You have so much confidence, like, oh my God, we're gonna win this, we're gonna win this. It feels so nice, and I still want to go to some games and like cheer my friends on. Growth mindset. So these are some of the stuff that I was able to like do in graphic design. At first when I was like, I wanted to do culinary art, and then one day I stepped into like this room full of like computers, and I was like, wow, what is this room? I want to join this class. And I went in and it changed my entire mindset. Like it brought me to graphic design. The posters, this was from our Black History play that I created. The graphic design teacher, she was out at that moment, so I created all this from scratch. When she came back, she was like, oh my God, I'm so impressed that I've done a better job than her. I was like, what? The middle photo is one of that I photoshopped. She is Saudia. She was also one of the student representatives here at once. I didn't even know I could create a photo like that. And it also opened me to photography. Ever since I finished school, I started working. I got my own camera now. Started taking photos. I got to travel and take a lot of photos. And I love making shirts, which I got from graphic design. That was one of the ideas of the senior shirt. I even made this shirt that I'm wearing. All these stuff you could do from just being in school, and all the other career ready classes. Like I was like saying to my cousin from the other day, like he's from New York, and I'm telling like all these career opportunity that we got, like, and my brother, he's going for college for aviation. I'm like, TPS opened their own aviation school and you like could graduate from that. He's like, wow, I really could have went to that. All these opportunity we get, and it's really amazing. TPS core values are important because they inspire, like they inspire me a lot and make me motivated, make me want to do a lot of stuff. When I do my graphic design, I want to like explore so much. With the photography, you could travel, explore. They change this perspective. There for everyone at TPS, not just students, because sometimes some teachers come in, they're like, oh wow, how do you do this? Like, and like, they will want to learn too. And they really make your school life better. Because, let me tell you, someday I go and I'm like, do I want to be at school today? But then I remember, okay, I got to wake up early and I got to go do the announcement. That motivate me every morning to go do the announcement. And it makes school life happier. Like, you go in school and you look out for all these tiny stuff that you get to do every day. You get to go on a fun field trips. Sometimes you get the message like, okay, we're gonna go to the family home and we're gonna help them clean up today, and after that you guys are gonna get a little award. All this stuff makes school life happy, and I'm really thankful for TPS for doing that. Thank you.
It is not easy to stand up in front of a group of people at a board meeting and tell them how you feel. So that was very well done. So thank you so much. So, you know, as we started through this, we also asked for feedback on the goals. And so you can see all of this works together, right? So the core values comes together with the goals. And so we got, again, feedback from students, feedback from board members, all kinds of people. So you can see the 5 plan goals right here. Pursue excellence for each and every student. Provide innovative educational opportunities. Embrace the full potential of each individual. Invest in all staff. And provide exceptional experiences. Each goal has objectives underneath. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I will just highlight a couple. If we look at something like providing innovative educational opportunities, we can see that the 2 objectives there say expand access to opportunities that prepare students for their future. Very much the conversations we've just had and Avia shared about his experience at TPS. Transform the local workforce through collaborative relationships. So again, TPS is an innovator and a leader in that space. So people need to know about all the great work that's going on there. Here are a couple more. Invest in all staff and provide exceptional experiences. Invest in all staff, right? Notice it's all staff. So we're talking about everyone who works here. And it's very important to be able to both recruit and retain highly effective staff if you want to be a leading education organization. And then provide exceptional experiences. While it may seem kind of funny, what does that mean? That is really talking about policies and practices and being efficient and effective and thinking about resources and how do we bring new resources in to the district. So lots of work, like I said, has gone on into each of these statements and all of the words that are used here. But again, it will all kind of come together as we start to frame out some metrics and priority areas. And last but not least, there are lots of ways that this links to lots of other work in the district, which is fantastic. Again, something you just don't see in school districts, which is really unfortunate because it can really have a huge impact. So linking all of this work to board committee structures, right? So different objectives are going to be assigned to different committees. So they will be talked about on a regular basis. Fantastic. Leadership competencies are going to be linked to professional development across the district and how we look at PD and identifying areas for improvement, as well as utilizing people's strengths appropriately. Linking to other district processes, such as orientation. So for example, one of the things we do in orientation with all new people to TPS is we're going to talk about the vision, the mission, and core values. We already do that with the old vision, mission, and some of the value statements there, but that's going to all be updated. So everyone who starts here is going to be able to understand exactly the direction that we're all moving in. And then physically throughout the district, you can see that at TPS, the mission and the vision are on the walls, right? We talk about them on a daily basis. Students recite those things in the morning. All of that's going to be updated. So we're very excited to see all of that new collateral go out and be put all over the district with a new brand and new feel. So it's really pretty exciting. Next steps is really thinking about outcomes, right? There are lots of outcomes from linking all of these things. And so what we know is that we can have greater outcomes for students, right? When we're all moving, again, in the same direction, we're all on the same team, whatever team you want that to be, when we're all on the same team, we can have greater outcomes because we know what it looks like to provide high quality services to families. We can increase staff engagement and morale. So when everything is clearly defined and aligned, it helps people to understand what is expected of them in their job. And that's one of the things that people commonly report when they feel like they're not part of the organization that they're in, is that they don't understand what's expected of them in their position. So this is a great way to lead there. It can improve our decision making. So every time that it comes down to making a decision, right, anywhere across the district, we can say, how does this relate back to where we're trying to go? Does this fit under one of the goals? Does this really show and demonstrate our core values? So it lets us, again, recheck that over and over and over, and then it gives us a better, stronger brand reputation, right? Which is great for student recruitment, which is great for staff recruitment, which means that the community has the ability to really be part of TPS. So lots of outcomes and lots of things that can be achieved through alignment. So that is really the end of this presentation at this point on all the different pieces and parts of the strategic plan. And I guess at that point I can take questions.
I have a couple of comments and just one question. First of all, I agree that words matter, and I'm glad that the students feel that way. I think a lot of our leaders these days ought to be careful about their words, because they matter, because they can be used to inflame or misguide or whatever, just depending on what the word is. I think it's difficult sometimes to decide what word is best. You have gone through that. I appreciate that, because you've sent to the board members, should we use this word? What does this word mean to you? I really appreciate that. I think it's very valuable. I'm glad that it's amazing that the students know that maybe more than some adults do, that words matter. I think the other thing is that the other thing that I appreciate, and I want to make sure I get this out, is that in the strategic planning process, and we had a strategic plan before, and we're going through revision of that. I want to thank you. I think you've done a wonderful job. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. You're working to corral a lot of different groups, people, individuals, whatever. The other person, the whole board and all of our staff and all of that have worked on this, but you know, Ms. Durkin has been important to ushering, you know, and kind of following this through. And I want to thank her for her participation, for doing that as a representative of the board. So I guess the only other thing I'm wondering about is that as education, the landscape is changing very quickly. I know we're going to keep you engaged. What are the methods that we're going to use to revisit this plan as the landscape of education changes?
Well, I can share that some of the conversations that we've had are that, again, being strategic, right? And strategic plans are a journey, they're not a destination, right? So the great part about how these are written is that they should be revisited on a regular basis. So if something new comes up, the question becomes to the board, what are the initiatives that sit underneath of these? And is there an objective that, because something has changed in the landscape, because the future of education looks different than we thought it was going to look, do we need to add something? And then there's a conversation and something gets added. You know, and TPS has designed that structure with such intent that is not hard here, right? And I think that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, there are huge organizations that never get to that place, to be able to be so specific and directed, but also so flexible because they're able to, because they have a structure that's set up for that. So I would say, you know, as moving forward, if there's something that needs to be added or changed, then that's where you all need to meet and have a conversation, and then updates need to be made.
Yeah, I think one of the good things is it's incorporated into our committees. That's one of the things you touched on, so we deal with it on a monthly basis. So yeah, it's just that education, the landscape is changing so quickly.
Yes.
Sometimes in directions that, you know, are challenging, almost all the time, directions that are challenging for all of us, for the staff, for everybody, for the students, everybody. And then a last comment is for Avi. You know, I've had contact with Avi over the years, and he's inspired me your enthusiasm and your passion has inspired me, and you are a leader. You don't have to wait to become a leader. You are a leader. I hope you continue on your journey.
I'll try and keep it brief. First of all, Avi, that's amazing that you were able to come up here and do what you do. Many adults cannot. I remember one of my very first times as a parent coming to a board meeting, and I was petrified. So what you were able to do was come up here and provide your input, and I so appreciate that. So thank you, and you are a leader. I've seen you grow. I'm so glad that you were involved in Student Voice. I know that you loved attending Woodward High School, and I was proud to shake your hand on graduation day. So I'm thankful that you're here today and that you were a part of this process. Emily, thank you for bringing this to us and making this a journey for all of us. I think we as board members, I mean, some of us, you know, we're a bit geeky in our committees, right? So we're going to get into this. It's not for everybody, but I think that it truly is a road map for the district and for generations to come. So I'm grateful that we have this opportunity. I'm especially excited that we have a new vision and mission statement. I know the administration has been like, oh, the Barwig, here she comes again about that mission and vision. But I'm excited about it because it came from all of us, you know, everyone that had a hand in it. So I'm excited to see this all come to fruition. So thank you. And I love the fact that you are a small business and female owned. Love that too.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Avi, thank you for being involved and for being here today. It was a journey for you, and I appreciate it. It was 10 years ago when I first got on the board that we started our first strategic planning journey. And I want to be a little bit more specific in asking the question, I think in a follow-up to Mr. Vasquez, about like the length of time that a strategic plan should live. And so I think we did a brilliant job keeping that strategic plan alive for 10 years. We definitely kept it at the top of mind in every committee meeting every month, but we also realized that it's more than just a review or an adjustment along the way, but it really should have a specific lifespan where, for sure, even if we've made no changes along the way, we should be reconsidering that strategic plan. What do you see a typical lifespan for something like this? And if so, I would encourage our board to like put a date on it, right? Like, what is this strategic plan for? From 2023 through?
So, that's a fantastic question. If you were to go to an MBA class, right, they may tell you 5 years. But what I can tell you is that, you know, and what Mr. Vasquez has brought up, nobody in January of 2020 thought that the world was going to shut down in 2 months and that there was going to be a global pandemic. Things happen. So to turn around and say a strategic plan has a life of exactly 5 years, truthfully, is kind of foolish. So it really needs to be, a lot of people will say 3 years is an appropriate time frame, but again, it's all in how it's designed. So it should be revisited. Is it part of regular conversations? Because you have the ability to update pieces and parts along the way. Structurally, again, those things are going to be talked about in board committees. Structurally, you have an executive who owns that and talks about it on a regular basis and ensures departments are talking about that on a regular basis. So I would say 3 to 5 years is probably the appropriate timeline unless something dramatically changes. And then you have to be able to stop and say what still is appropriate and what's not and what's missing and what do we need to add immediately, right? In Columbus, Intel has decided to build a giant facility. No one knew that was going to happen. That district, I would hope, has changed their strategic plan dramatically given that huge change in their market, right? That's going to change everything about who they are. And so, you know, Toledo is growing. I don't know what's going to happen here. So I think you all just have to be able to keep a pulse on how things change and update that appropriately, as well as lots of other pieces and parts that change in education on a regular basis.
So I can see having the flexibility along the way, but I would still like to think about maximum lifetime limit, right? Not 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we would need to keep that in mind as a board, that of course we're going to be flexible, but at the minimum, we need to make sure we're taking a look at it in, you know, X number of years, that sort of thing. So I'd like us to continue to think about a window of time for this this strategic plan. And I would just like to also point out that this is a very deliberate thing, right? It's a strategic plan, and I love the slide where you show how it's, you know, connected to the values, to the leadership, and to the competencies. And I can tell you our experience even from the 10-year strategic plan, that folks can be sure that once these metrics are built out, that's exactly what the board uses to hold the superintendent and the treasurer accountable. And those same things will appear in their competency-based evaluations. And I know from experience that that's exactly how Dr. Durant then evaluates his cabinet and his leaders, is by these very same outcome-driven sort of strategies get pushed down to his executive cabinet to make sure that they get pushed out. So it really does connect the dots all the way down, and I'm hoping that we do a really good job of bringing it to life at the other end of this, of the workforce as well, so that everyone knows that they're part of this. Not only were they part of developing it, but they're part of making it, keeping it alive and making our district shine. So I really appreciate the very deliberate efforts that this team has gone through to bring this updated strategic plan to us.
Thank you. Avi, I just want to say to you that I haven't known you as long as some of the other board members, but in the short time that we have connected, you have a lasting impression with me. You have always been consistent in your care and concern for our district, and that has not changed. And even though you're not just as strong as you were with your student voice, I believe you'll be just as strong with your alumni voice. So really excited for you, and thank you for all that you have done for our district. And Emily, thank you, because even in our conversations, your intentionality was proof that you wanted what was best, for our district in making the strategic plan successful. So we really appreciate your time and your effort, and really excited about this strategic plan. I too was trying to learn the new mission and vision statement, because I was a ear to Mrs. Varwick several times when she would stress how much she wanted that change to take place. And I was going to try to surprise you all and remember it, and then my mind went blank. So back to the drawing board for me. But nevertheless, thank you, and we're really excited for this strategic plan. Thank you.
Emily, I just want to say thank you to you and your team, Mr. Murphy, Avi, and the students that worked on this. One thing I am so happy about in this development moving forward, that you were intentional about community. If you look at who was sitting at the table, it was the community. And I think when we think of school districts, we don't look at it as a community, because we don't look outside the walls. And so even that is a new step in the right direction of looking outside of TPS walls, because we are our community. It's our parents, it's our guardians, it's the business owners, it's the community leaders, it's the students, staff. And I am so happy that that was one of your we're not moving on that. We're not changing that. We want everybody in the room to look at this and have a voice for that. And I truly appreciate that, because we are a community. That's what public schools are. And I appreciate that so much. Avi, every time I see you, I just smile so hard, because I cannot wait to vote for you. I don't know what you're going to do. I mean, I know you're going to keep taking up space, and I'm so glad to see you keep doing that. And I hope that even in this process coming back, you have now younger students looking up to you. So that right there is just making me grin from ear to ear, because I know our future is in good hands. So thank you so much for everything, and thank you for the presentation. So now I will ask Mr. Vice President, if you don't mind reading the resolution.
A resolution establishing Toledo Public Schools' vision, vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals. Whereas the Board of Education of Toledo City School District, the board is committed to continue progress within Toledo Public Schools, TPS. Whereas the board has solicited input from teachers, administrators, students, parents, and community and civic leaders to develop a strategic plan in order to outline TPS's vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals, the strategic plan. Whereas the strategic plan identifies new and innovative programs and curriculum which will benefit TPS students, staff, families, and the community. Whereas TPS strategic plan is guided by a vision of the future where each and every student reaches their full potential to lead and live a purpose-driven life. Whereas TPS mission will continue to demonstrate how each action is taken to serve our vision. Whereas the strategic plan identifies core values to reaffirm TPS's commitment to our students by prioritizing their success, nurturing growth, promoting healthy behaviors, creating a culture of respect and belonging, and embracing opportunities to grow and improve. Whereas, to build on these core values and in an effort to achieve TPS's mission and vision, the strategic plan identifies 5 goals related to student excellence, innovative educational opportunities, embracing potential of all members of the TPS community, investment in TPS staff, and providing exceptional experiences for all. Whereas the strategic plan outlines how TPS will achieve its goals, remain committed to its core values, and take action to advance its mission and vision. This includes ensuring its curriculum addresses all development areas for each student, developing increased opportunities for parent voice and workforce development initiatives, expanding meaningful student involvement through our SMARTS program, aligning professional development to TPS's overall mission, and improving building and ground safety. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Toledo City School District that Section 1, the board adopts a strategic plan outlining its vision, mission, core value, goals, and objectives through 2028. The strategic plan will serve as TPS's roadmap for the future to achieve student success. Section 2, the board adopts the following vision statement. We empower each and every student to lead a purpose-driven life. This vision statement will guide future decisions within TPS and promote purpose-driven, future-focused actions. Section 3, the board adopts the following mission statement. We provide innovative educational opportunities that ensure each student is prepared for their future. This mission statement demonstrates how TPS will take action to reach our vision. Section 4, the board adopts the following core values. Student-centered, we intentionally prioritize the success of each student. Student ownership, we provide choice and voice to nurture student growth. Safety and wellness, we promote healthy behaviors to protect our physical, mental, social, and emotional needs. Culture of positivity, we nurture a culture of respect and belonging. Growth mindset, we own our actions and embrace opportunities to grow and improve. These core values establish TPS's desire to provide a high-quality education to its students, focusing not only on academic growth, but achieving personal and professional success in all educational opportunities. Section 5, the board adopts the following goals with the development of future board objectives. Pursue excellence for each and every student, provide innovative educational opportunities, embrace the full potential of each individual, invest in all staff, provide exceptional experiences. These goals and objectives reaffirm TPS's commitment to our students, family, staff, and community in each decision that is made. Section 6, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption, and shall supersede any prior resolution or act of this board which may be inconsistent with the provisions of this resolution. And Section 7, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and of any of its committees that result in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public, in compliance with all the legal requirements sections, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I would like to request a motion to approve a resolution establishing Toledo Public Schools' vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes,
and Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
thank you. We have already celebrated our retirees for the month, so I will move past section 2.03. So we have reversed it to 2.01. Somehow we got to 2.02. I apologize. So now I will turn over to Ryan.
Yeah, I just want to let the board know that we've received the certificate for the award of, or the certificate of excellence in financial reporting again this year for our June 30th, 22 financial reports. The certificate serves as recognition to the district's commitment to transparency, accuracy, and adherence to financial reporting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. So now we will move to section 4, because in section 3 we do not have any community comments. This is our organizational input. I do see Mr. Ramirez from TAAP. Do you have?
I want to say thank you for another year, 175 years. It's phenomenal to think about. On Monday, you arrived. We were at some buildings and some board members over there, wearing your hat, your bishop hat, and your board brand, and your professor hat. But good start. We're working on some transportation, but we're getting through it. So I want to thank everybody, congratulate everyone on another 175 years. Javi, my wife misses you as a student over there at Woodward already. This is the second day. I'm glad to have you and your family to get to go to TPS. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. We also have a new face. We also have a new face from AFSCME. I'm so happy to see you, Mr. Ryan Terrell. Is that correct? Thank you and welcome. Now we will have section 5, which is our comments by the board. Mr. Vasquez.
No, I'm just, Madam President, looking to, and Superintendent Durant, another great year. It's going to be exciting, and we got a lot of good stuff we're going to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Barwick.
No, I'll wait to the end. Thank you.
Board Member Gerken.
I'm good for now, thank you.
Mr. Vice President.
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Okay, so that was quick. So I do want to say as a parent to apologize on behalf of the board for the frustration, but I ask that you give us grace. We know things are changing, things are moving, and our staff is working hard, as Mr. Terrell said, to work out things, and I know it's going to be a great year. I see the kids are excited, welcoming back the first day of school. I got to be a Barbie at LP Stewart, and Dr. Durant was Ken, not my Ken, but he was a Ken, and it was cool. You should check the picture out on Facebook. It just was really good seeing all the staff just celebrate the students coming back in the doors, so I do appreciate that. Next, we're going to go ahead and move to section 6, which is our consent agenda. Agenda items 6.01 through 6.31 are the consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent and move it to discussion section of the agenda. Item 6.01 through 6.05, Human Resources Staff Development and Training Committee. Chair, Board Member Gerken. Co-Chair, President Barnes. Items 6.06 through 6.21, Finance and Business Operations Committee. Chair, Board Member Vasquez. Co-Chair, Board Member Barwig. Item 6.2, Technology Improvements and Process Committee. No meeting this month. Chair, Board Member Gerken. Co-Chair, Vice President Parker, Item 6.23 through 6.24, Board Curriculum Instruction and Academic Excellence. Chair, Board Member Gerken. Co-Chair, Board Member Barwig. Item 6.25, Policy Committee, no meeting this month. Chair, Board Member Vasquez. Co-Chair, President Barnes. Item 6.26, Art, Athletics, and Student Activities Committee, no action items this month. Chair, Board Member Barwig. Co-Chair, Vice President Parker. Item 6.27 through 6.28, which is Family and Community Engagement Committee. Chair, Board Member Vasquez. Co-Chair, Vice President Parker. Item 6.29 through 6.31, approve of board minutes. I would like to request a motion to approve consent. That's not it. I'd like to make a motion to request approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Barwig.
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes, I'm not used to being last.
Section 7 of the agenda consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are here for information and references. No action is required, so we can proceed to Section 8 of the agenda, which is our discussion item. 8.01, August 2020, why keep saying 20? The 22nd of 2023, administrative section. I would like to request a motion to approve the August 22nd, 2023 administrative section.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwig.
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
And with that, congratulations to Assistant Principal Hayden Lowe. As you can see, he's very popular. Sorry? Yeah, would you like to come to the mic and say a few words? No? He's like, no, they have dinner reservations, they're out. Well, I don't know you yet, but I will. But I've heard great things about you, and I know the team that you have in place over at Beverly. You guys are so fortunate. You're so fortunate. So thank you for your willingness to be in this role, and I look forward to a great year at Beverly. You saw it.
All right. Section 9 is walk-ins. Are there any walk-ins this evening? Okay, so we can proceed to Section 10. Yeah. Okay, so you gotta take a picture. Let's get some steps in. Let's go over here. All right, Section 10. We are at early childhood education action items. No. Yes, we are. Chair, Vice President Parker, Co-Chair, President Barnes. I will turn it over to, there she is. Okay, to Dr. Allen.
Are three separate reports that are required by the Office of
Thank you, Dr. Allen. So I would like to request a motion to approve the Head Start funding application.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No? Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Abstain.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to request a motion to approve the self-assessment plan, TPS ECE.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question for Dr. Allen. So this is the plan to get started on the self-assessment, or it has been completed?
That's the final self-assessment.
So this is the product
Correct.
that we're voting on? Okay.
Correct.
And will we be publishing that, or how will that be shared?
That's an internal document
I see.
that we use for improvement,
Okay.
self-improvement. The annual report.
Annual
is one that
report.
we will
Okay.
publish to the community.
So that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
Thank you. 10.03 is Early Childhood Annual Report. I would like to request a motion to approve the Early Childhood Annual Report.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just that this is always really good reading and valuable across the community and across sectors. It's something that is wonderful that we can do as part of our Head Start grant. So I would just encourage you to share it widely, and then maybe even find ways to get it into the community with some presentations and so forth, because I think it's valuable across the community for a variety of purposes.
Any more discussion? Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we are going to section 11. Thank you, Dr. Amy Allen, for that. Is one more? Okay. Thank you. This is what happens when you have a good team. They always help you out. So 10.04 is a fiscal service plan. I would like to request a motion to approve the fiscal service plan.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Barwick,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken.
Yes.
Okay, now thank you, Dr. Amy Allen, for everything that you do in your team in ECA. Now we'll move to section 11 of the agenda, consists of early childhood education reports and minutes from this month's committee meeting, and are provided for your information and reference. No action is required, so we can proceed to section 12, which is ECE walk-ins. I do not believe it's any walk-ins this evening, correct? Awesome. So now we can move to section 13, which is executive session. I would like to request a motion to enter executive session based on number 1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or conversation of a public employee or official, of the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensees, regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. Except otherwise provided by law, no public body should hold an executive session for the discipline of an elected official for conduct related to the performance of the elected official office duties for the elected official's removal from office. If a public body holds an executive session, excuse me, Treasurer, I just have to ask, I think I am reading the wrong insert that is needed for executive session.
No, that's the correct one. And then the second one is the conferences with an attorney for public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. So you're good on the first one.
Okay, so I will keep reading then. If a public body holds an executive session pursuant to Division G1, the section, the motion and vote to hold that executive session shall state which one or more of the approval purposes listed in Division G1 of this section are the purpose for which the executive session is to be held, but not needed included the name of any persons to be considered at the meeting This is going to be pending or imminent legal action.
So moved.
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Varwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes,
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
thank you.
Mrs. Varwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes,
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
thank you. Now we move on to section 14 through 16, which are comments. Dr. Durant?
Yeah, so we had a great turnout for our Staff Appreciation Day. Well over 2,000 staff members came out. Again, appreciation to Cedar Creek South. Open house went well, with over at Old Orchard and with the red carpet treatment, so it was very, kids showing out their outfits. So I thought it was a great open house theme that they used. And then open house, or I say birthday at school went off without a hitch. I think it went really great. Started off with Beverly with the new administration, their team there. They done a phenomenal job. King Academy for boys had a great turnout. Stewart Academy for girls had a great turnout. Pickett Academy, University of Toledo, and coaches come out. And Square Smarts Academy continue to have a great turnout as well. So we continue to expand that to different schools throughout the district. Love to see each and every school do that. So we'll continue to work on that. Again, off to a great start, ready for another year. And again, thank you for being TPS proud.
Thank you, Dr. Durant. Ryan?
Yeah, just one thing tonight, the other state released their levy guidance on do's and don'ts. So there's a webinar that's being put on by OSBA and OASBO. I think it's either Monday or Tuesday that we'll sit in and get the guidance from them on the things that we cannot do.
Thank you, Ryan. Board Member Vasquez?
No comment.
Thank you. Board Member Varwig?
I'll keep it brief. I'm excited about this school year. I have a second grade granddaughter at Escuela, and then also my 3-year-old Oliver, who's going to be in preschool this year at Escuela. So super excited about that, and I definitely have to learn Spanish. So looking forward to a great school year.
Thank you. Board Member Gerken?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Vice President?
Real briefly, this is the first time in 14 years I didn't have to wake any kids up to go to school for TPS. So excited about that. Also, I'm excited too with my colleague, board member Varwig, to go to Chicago and to share in the Urban Board Alliance Symposium for COSPA, and a couple of our TPS representatives will be there sharing as well. So excited for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I just want to say welcome back. And we're going to have a great year, so thank you for what you're doing. With that being said, section 17, I would like to request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Varwig,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes,
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
thank you. Have a good evening.